Clara, Clara, Clara. Clara, 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 Clara. C-L-A-R-A, C-L-A-R-A. Clara, 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 Clara. Clara, Clara, Clara. Clara, 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 Clara. C-L-A-R-A. Clara, 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 Clara. 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 Clara, 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 Clara. C-L-A-R-A. Clara. Clara, Clara, Clara. Clara, 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 Clara. 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 C-L-A-R-A. Clara.
You can see everything? Hello?
Yes, we can, yes.
You see my presentation now?
Yeah, it's very clear.
Okay, let me start. This is the Clara mine. It's a famous mine for collectors of minerals, special micro minerals. The most photos I will show you this evening are from findings from the last 3-4 years. And I have some friends like Felix and Henk, and they borrow my, of course, some nice stuff too. So we start. Thanks to my friends who helped me. The Clara mine you find here is in the southwest of Germany, and we live about here in the near, just at the south of Netherlands. And you see this about 500 kilometers. So everybody in this circle, people from Italy, France, Austria, Switzerland, they come easily to the Clara mine. This is the Black Forest. Here you see the River Rhine, French. Here you find Saint-Marie Mine. That's where the second biggest open fair in the world is every year in the month of June. And we often go to the Clara and then we go from there. It's about 120 kilometers to Saint-Marie and back. So we can collect minerals there and buy minerals there. Here you see a detail of the region where we go. This is Wolfach. This is the compound where they, where the factory where they get all the rocks coming from the Clara mine. In the Clara mine you find air. It's not allowed to visit the Clara mine itself because it's too dangerous, of course. That's no problem. They bring the rocks down here. And here is the river Kinzig, and that's used for washing up all the material that's coming there. This is where we can go in these days. Here we have a little small dump. This is the big dump on the factory. This is the town of Wolfach. It's really a nice German city, like it must be. Beautiful, good drinks, good beer. This is an old photo of the mine. Here's the entrance. In the old days there was an entrance up in the mountain there, but that's a long time ago. Everybody want to know more about the history of the Clara. We know that Roman people already were collecting there, but there are many books about it, so help yourself. This is Felix with our friend Hai, just before the entrance of the Clara mine. You may not go in it, but there they go in with the loaders. And there you see working in the mine itself on the front. They all have to put it with concrete to to be assured that the mine is not going to collapse. So there's a lot of work and a lot of money. These are the head veins of the Clara. You see here the Barrite, and this is the Fluoride. I have a special feeling in my heart for this one. This is the Diagonaltum. It's a German word. It's a line that's going through both of the Fluoride and Barrite veins, and you can find always very strange minerals in those this region. This is a photo in the mine, and you see all the walls are, yeah, it's dreaming. We all like to go there and to do some work, but that's forbidden. But they bring it to us on the dump. Here's the loader, and they bring in the material outside and then to the big factory of the Clara. There you see the concrete, that's all used. Safety first. This is a photo I took, I think 10, 15 years ago. Then we were allowed to collect every day on the big dump. Then they came up with the big trucks and they put the material down, and so then we could go away. But it was too dangerous, so now they have another thing. This is the list of the Clara. You see all these elements, they are found, you can find them, so that make a very, very, very complex series of minerals. Mindat says we have 442, but our German friends of Mineral Atlas, and they are much better informed, they have 502. They have 70 type locality minerals on this moment, and there will be more. I always work with stones classification, and I also built this up with this presentation with the stones classification. So we do first elements, then sulfides, halides, and so on. Now, here we got silver. The last year they found so much silver again in the Clara mine that in the factory it's collect again, and it's very high preferable silver because it's so pure. And of course we find silver too. And I love this silver. You find it in very fine grains and pure plates of silver. I found this 2 years ago, I believe. This is one of my favorite silver findings. And this is from a friend. He found this for 2 years ago. And this is also from 2 years ago. We call this the dragon. It's a very, very fine specimen of silver. You can still find it. You must only have a little bit of luck. Copper is also a very nice element there. You find it in pure plates of copper, and of course very highly desirable are the crystals of copper. The very fine found this one. This is what Felix found last year. A nice crystal. This is what our friend Eric found. It's a complete candelabra of pure copper. This is, I believe, 6 millimeter. Most pictures are about 1 to 3 millimeter. Here we are working on the little dump. You can go there for 7 days a week. You pay a little fee, about €12.50, I believe. And they can work and collect the whole day long. And we find a lot of interesting minerals on that stand-up. Here you see Henk, an old picture of 2016. He was younger than he is now. And this is from last year in July. Now we have to wear a mask, but it's not such a problem there. On this photo you can see the different kind of minerals you can. This is what here we can find silver. This is barite. This is coming from the fluoride vein, and this is the Diagonaltum. This is my favorite one. and it looks like that. So you are just digging and knocking on all the big rocks you can find. This one I found in July. It was a very, very good rock. It was almost quartzite, very hard, but I found a lot of beautiful minerals in it. You can also find everyday still very nice big fluorides. This is about 1.5 centimeter, I think. Hematite is silver sulfide. This one from my own collection. And Pyrite you find sometimes a lot, sometimes you don't find it much, but you always can find it. And it always, when it's very fresh, then you see this metallic color on it. This is a Tennantite crystal. And here's, you see the same one too, Pyrite. Bismuth. This one from Felix, but it has some oxidation, I think, because the color is just a little bit too bright yellow. But we are still in discussion. This is the normal stuff like you can find it. And this is one of the main minerals. It's Sulphur Pyrite. Contains a lot of copper and iron. And a lot of new minerals are growing up of these crystals. When you're looking and you find them very fresh, and they have those golden color. Yes, you see some crystals I found and that having a little bit, they're growing up some new minerals again. They're starting to change. And this I love. It has a little bit of oxidation, but it's beautiful crystals. I like the color. This a pair of golden ones. You see also the restoration and on the minerals. Covalent, copper sulfide. Most of the time you find it like this. I found this 3 or 4 months ago. But when you're lucky, and I found this one, I believe 3 years ago, then you find this one. You see on the Coprite crystal, you see this very nice Covalent crystals in a hexagonal shape, and that's very rare to find them this big. But it's field fused 1 millimeter, so I was very happy with it. Galena is more difficult to find these days because it's forbidden because of environment laws in Germany to bring up the Galena out of the mine, but sometimes you are lucky and then you find this one. You cannot control everything. Leuceinite, Fanatic Knight, we always, we can't say which is which, so we see a little difference in here. And we take them as one group. I think this is Leuceinite. And this is Fanatic Knight. You can see it in all kinds of steria. It's on a Coprite crystal. And this is a beautiful that Eric found 2 years ago. You see here the Coprite, the bright, the golden color. And on that is all that small Fanatic Knight crystals in here. I love this piece. Market size, you don't find it so much. It is there. And most of the time you find in this kind of shape. Polybasite, I have one, but it's not as beautiful. It's also a silver mineral. You can see it here. And there's silver. But when you're lucky, you find these beautiful crystals. So you have to go when you are on the little dump to the left side. That's where the silver Paragon can be found, and where this kind of crystal can be found when you have a good day. You see it here too. This is, of course, a dream piece. Perovskite, it's there in the Clara, but you will never find it like a free crystal. Always, it's closed in Fluoride crystals, and I found one by Felix in his collection. This is the surface of Fluoride, and here you see the Coprite crystals, but they're still fresh. That's nice. Barrite, I did find it last year. This is a silver crystal, but I did not find really the crystal I like, but I did find it. I let this determine, and it's one, but I'm still looking for a better crystal. And this one I discovered in July or August this year, last year. I didn't know what it was, so I have sent it away to examine it. And this also pure Barrite. And this kind of pure Barrite has not been found until 20 years ago. Now I am the first one to have a new one. Very nice. Pyrite you find sometimes, but not always in beautiful crystals. But here you have someone, a Decahedron. And I found this 2 years ago. This group of Barrite crystals, hundreds and hundreds of small crystals, forming some rounded balls. Tannantite tetrahedrite, it's very difficult to see on the eye which mineral you have, so we always treat them like one. This one I found in August this year. It's a big piece. This is about 15 millimeters, but I was very happy with it, and I found it on the diagonal tool again. But I love this material. This is our friend Eric found 3 years ago. It's a field of view of 2 millimeters, I believe. And this is, yeah, this is a ring. Very, very high cluster. And the brilliance of the minerals are very, very nice. Most of the times they are just disintegrated, but now this is what I like to see. 3 times a year, the big dump is open, and we are allowed in the weekend on Saturday and Sunday to visit the big dump. This is a photo I made 4 months ago, just when the Corona crisis started, so we all had to line up. But it was very good weather. The big dumps are, of course, much more material to look on. That doesn't want to say that you find more, but you have more chance to find interesting stuff. On those days, you see a lot of people are coming there, and we are coming from all over Europe. I see French people, Belgian people, German, Swiss, Austria, Italian, Spanish. You meet them all there, and it's one big family. And we all help each other to collect. This is me 3 years ago on a very nice little dump. I was thinking I stayed there for half an hour, and then I use my what do we call it, a shovel?
No.
And then I knock on the. But I didn't move that day because I found that 27 different kinds of minerals in one day. And this guy, he's coming from Switzerland. So I asked him why he come to the Clara and not was going to climb into the mountains in Switzerland to look for nice quartz crystals. A few minutes after I make this remark, he showed me a piece. He was dancing, and when Swiss people are dancing, they're just like cuckoo's clocks. They dance, very formal people, you know. But he was dancing. I said, what's the matter? What's wrong with you? I said, look what I found. And he showed me a big piece from about 30-40 centimeters. And in that rock, there was a giant bug. And it was containing, I think, 1 dozen of very nice, 1 centimeter big purple fluorides. And every fluoride crystal had a plume on it. And that plume was made of porcelain. I've never seen that. And the whole wall of the work was filled with hundreds of very, very nice deep blue Chloride crystals. It was a dream. So He had a good day. Me too. And this is my friend Andre. He's a very strong guy from the Schwarzwald, and he only likes big blocks and big minerals. So when he has got some big material, then I always go and look if we can find some small things. So why do you have to do the hard work? He showed me one this summer. He found this block. It is about 100 kilograms, and he picks it up. He's a strong man. And there he showed fluorides, and they were about 4 by 4 centimeter. And he take them at home, and then he has a big stone saw, and then he cut them out. This one I found was not. It was only 2 or 3 centimeters, but it's a nice piece. Chloride. It's a very beautiful mineral. We all love it. And it's, most of the time you see it growing on Sulphur Pyrite. And this is the one I found also. Fluoride is one of the main material they're looking for in the Clara mine. And a few years ago, a friend of us did research on the different type of fluoride minerals you can find in the Clara, and he discovered, with the help of the Belgian specialist Eddie van der Meersen, he discovered 18 different crystal shapes. But it's very, it's not easy to find these. But fluoride, you cannot have enough. I will show you someone. This is a fluoride, and it's a little oxide. Yeah, iron oxide, I think, but it's so beautiful thing. I can watch this for hours. And this was found 2 years ago. Also fluorides. These are a little bit smaller, 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters, but they are very nice, very nice. And this is fluoride you find more in the Clara. And this I found 4 months ago. It's also fluoride with some, I think, some goethite in it. And this one is a beauty. I love these combinations. And this one is from Felix. It's only 0.5 millimeter, the whole field of view, but it has such a nice surface etching. And this is a magnesite crystal. And this one I found a few months ago. Now I know where I have to watch for. I don't know exactly. It's Romuloeder with isometric combination and some Decahedron. I don't know anything, but I will see what it is. This is a very special one. It's from my friend Frans van Held. It's a perimorphose. That means in the beginning this was a fluoride crystal. It in the later stadium it's all covered up with malachite, and the fluoride inside is disappeared. So this is a real perimorphose after fluoride. Very special kind. Callsign, yeah. Most people don't watch it. I think it's an important mineral. It's not so spectacular, but this is Callsign, and most of the Callsign is changed into fluoride and in magnesite, but you have to have at least one in your collection. We are lucky guys in Holland. We are of course a small country, 400 kilometers by 300 kilometers. So in the middle of in our country, near of Utrecht, 3 times a year in the winter time, and we come together with a Society for Blockferrous Mineral. We have 65 members. We have 3 meetings a year, and then we can do all kinds of determinations, showing nice finds we did. We have specialized lectures there always, and we only do black forest minerals. That means 90.9% is Clara. So simple it is. We all bring with our equipment and our gear, and it's nice to meet them. We have a few German friends, and we have some Belgian friends too. But you see, the most are old guys. This This is our friend Einhard. Is a German doctor in geology and biology, and he does a lot of research on with Raman spectroscopy. So we learn a lot of things from him. And this is famous photographer and well-known author Eddie van der Meersen, Belgian guy. He sometimes visits our meetings too. And he made this book a few years ago, Crystal Forms of Fluoride. This, I can always say, everyone who loves fluoride, you need this book. It's a work of 29 years. And he shows us just all the kind of different forms there are known of fluorides on this moment. And he told me a few months ago, he thinks it must be 200, but I'm glad I can see 10 or 12 different shapes. But in this book, he make all kinds of combinations. This is a mineral he photographed from my own collection, double fluoride in here. You see this combination of octaeder with isometric crystals. And this is our the brains, Jan. He when he got retired, he studied 4 years geology on the University of Utrecht. So he did a lot of research then, and he made always special presentations about one mineral of the Clara. So we learned a lot of that, and we are very, very glad to have someone in our middle that is so very good teacher. And every time we have a meeting, we have also special guys. We are always allowed to do 5 or 6 minerals to determine here. And this is the famous Richard Barrio, the class specialist. So you can always bring the minerals you really don't know. And some science that they don't know it too. This is a famous German friend, Jürgen Egenthal. He's one of the few people who has had permission to visit the mine for more days. He was there for 2 or 3 years, I believe, and then he made a photo collection about 1,000 or 2,000 photos of the mine itself. And when he was there, he was working, of course, on the front, and they just had some new dynamite charges there, and all the guys that work there, they first go into the new place where they did do the explosions, and then they look for big crystals. They are still find very big crystals, and so he had a whole box with very, very nice barites and fluorides, and this is one of them. Barrite with all kinds of small different azurite crystals. It's a very nice find. But yeah, anatas. I am looking always for anatas. I never found it. But there will be one day I find it. This is the form you find in the Clara mine, also platy crystals. Coprite is of course very, very famous there. For years it was very difficult to find. In the last 2 years, I think, there was coming a lot of Coprite to the surface. You see it here with Kleiner class. Huh? Conical side. This is the normal shape of Coprite. This green stuff, I believe it must be olivenite or something. These are a few crystals I found myself, so I'm a lucky guy too. And this one I found with the typical red coloration. You don't see that every time, but I have one. And this is what a piece what Felix found, of course, again 2 years ago, I believe. I'm glad when I found one crystal, and he always come with 100 or more. Typical red color. This one too. This is found from 2 years ago, I believe, 2019, when I found a lot of this stuff. Mm. And this is from Felix too. You find it not so many times. It's Coprite, yeah. When you find it in the form of hair growth, then we call it Sulphur Pyrite, but This is real Coprite. Goethite. I am a lover of goethite. Most people don't like it, but I do. And you find a lot of different shapes. This is found by our friend Eric 2 years ago. It's very special. It's very, very fine brushes of goethite. He did let it analyze, so we know it's sure. And this is fine, very fine. Found I did. And this is also found by Eric. There's only one man in our group that is not sure this is goethite. I won't call his name here, but it is. You can find it even on Mindet in this form from the Clara mine. And this, the forms I like. Just always remember the beautiful gogots you can find in Paris, but these are from completely goethite. I love them. And this is an old find of me, quartz crystals from the Clara with goethite, just on the top of it. Of course, you find also hematite. And this is hematite that our friend Eric found 2 years ago. And the white stuff, it was a complete discussion, but we are sure this must be prosopite. But it is, of course, in discussion. And I, lucky guy I am, I found this piece 2 years ago. Very, very thick crystals of hematite. You don't find them often in the Clara like this quality. And this I found four months ago, also on the diagonal tomb. Nobody likes it, but I do like it. It's quartz crystals, and here's some very nice rows of hematite crystals. Quartz. There's a lot of quartz in the Clara mine, so nobody looks at it. I think it's a pity. I always collect some strange form of quartz crystals. This I found 2 years ago. Ruspite. This is a rare found. You see, is a lead wolfram oxide. This is the form you find them. I think they are much better in France in the collection site of Le Mans. This is Clara, and this is a good crystal. It's about 8 millimeters big, so it's not a tiny one. Tungstenbite, also a type locality of the Clara mine. This is what it normally looks. It can have different kind of color. You see this one and this one and this one too. So everyone who go to Clara, sometimes you find this nice stuff. When you are in Clara, you always take some time to visit the MIMA. It's a Mineral and Museum and Mathematique, and it's a very famous museum there. It shows a lot of different minerals from the Black Forest, but also, of course, of Clara. It's about yeah, it's just near the mine. It's 1 mile from the mine, I think. This is the entrance with the beautiful flowers. And then you come in, and downside is a big museum. You find a lot of big minerals from the Black Forest region. All kinds of minerals you can find there and see there. And this is the second level. And it's such a beautiful museum. And we always go there and watch the crystals and make photographs. And a few years ago, our Mineral Society of the Clara in the Netherlands, we were allowed to visit, to fill this small chambers with minerals from the Clara. But these are all Micromount, so you can see them with the eye. So everyone who put in a mineral there has also get a photo. And there's a big screen in there, so you can everything watch a little bit better. And after the mineral visit, you go and drink a nice beer with a beautiful Schwarzwald girl. I found 2 years ago. I found Anchorite. Most people don't find it much, I think, but I like it too. It's one of my best finds I did in this mineral. It's a big. I think the field of view is 15 millimeters, so it's a big big crystal. Here you got, of course, azurite. It's always difficult to find good azurites the last years, I think, but still are coming. Not so much as in 20, 30 years ago, but still are. This is a very nice piece from a few years ago. And this too. Normally you find them in this rounded balls. Not many crystals. And this is one I like. It's from France. And he found it 3 years ago. And we are now he is going to have to do research on this green crystals inside of it, but we don't know what it is. And this is one of my old friend Wim, one of the beautiful azurite from the Clara. Pesticide is a very rare mineral there, but it is there. It's a hexagonal crystal. I only saw it once in my life, but I had to make this photo last year. And it's found from our friend Frans. Very rare, but our time will come. We will find it too. Bismuth. There it is. It's, in my eyes, it's not very spectacular, but it's a very interesting find. You don't find it easy. And this is a special mineral from my collection. I bought this more over than 30 years ago from a famous German research guy, Günter Blass. Günter is a man who worked with Röntgen equipment. And he, of course, is a big specialist on Eiffel minerals. And he did research on this crystal, and he discovered that this was almost always bismuthite. And now I've seen on Mindet this form is now recognized like real bismuthite. So I have one. Callsign, you don't find it a lot on the Clara. It's not in my opinion. This is a very beautiful find of friend Pete 2 years ago. And here we have Callsign crystals, and they are covered up with some iron stuff material, so you see the crystal form much better. Cerussite, yes, you can find cerussite there. And this is a found I did 2 years ago. With some nice malachite crystals on it. Clarite. This is one of the most wanted minerals for lovers of Clara minerals. In the 80s and 90s, it was sometimes they did find it, but I didn't hear anybody talking about it about the last 20 years. I have only 2 specimens in my own collection that I had to buy, of course, but this is one, and this is another one. It's a very, very tiny platy crystals. It's about, I think one crystal is about 0.1 millimeter. So I'm glad I have 2, but that's all. Magnesite is a very interesting mineral. It's always formed from cellulite crystals. And you always find these crystals in what we call in German Stinkspat. Melt, bad smell spat. It's a dark fluoride with some uranium in it. You don't see it much, but we love to find it. This is a big piece from our friend Felix. He has a lot of them. You see also the dark fluoride sites. This one I found a few years ago. I didn't know what it was. Also from the Stinkspat, and it has been determined for me. And malachite, of course, you find a lot of stuff there. I always like it. Some people throw it away, but I love it. This is one piece I found a few years ago. And this is for my friend Han. When I see this piece, I always think there's a cowboy on his horse coming riding here. And he's going to make a camping site in here on the green hill. It's such a beautiful piece. And he also found this one. It's when you dive in the ocean, you can see this. It's a coral reef for me. All kind of types of crystals from malachite. I love this stuff. And this is my Eastern bunny I found a few years ago in the Clara. He's sitting there, there's the bunny. And I'm waiting for Eastern. And yeah, you see all kinds of different shapes and crystals are too. You don't find them so much, but they are. This is one, a big piece I found about 6-7 years ago. We have also a sister mineral society, the German side from, is about 50 miles from our home, Erkelenz. Very nice people, and sometimes we can go there, but yeah, because of Corona, it's now not allowed. And once in the month, they have a meeting only on Clara minerals. And here's the Mineralia and Fossilien, Erkelenz. There we are. This is the famous collector, Belgian collector, Erwig Pelkmans. Sometimes he's on the meeting too. He's a geologist and a great specialist on minerals and special American minerals. And he visits America 2 times a year, I think, to collect minerals. And there we do only Clara minerals. I found this nice andesite a few months ago. It was in August or September, I don't know it anymore. And here we find some andesite crystal too. And barite, of course, if you love Clara, you have barites from 10-20 centimeters big, but we are certified when we find nice crystals from a few millimeters. But they have a lot of different shapes, and you see, these are some barites I found. This find September last year. It's barite, but it's so beautiful. And this is barite with the 2nd generation on Barrite crystals. And this one was in a piece I found. It was the last piece of July, I think, that I had. I think I throw it away. It's only quartz, but I just give it a good break, and then I found this beautiful yellow Barrite crystal on quartz. It's so beautiful. This one I get from Felix. It's found in the Stinkspad. It has a yellow color. There is still another type of Barrite I've seen there. It has another kind of yellow color, and it contains some uranium. But I don't have found it yet, but we will someday. This is what the German call Meißelspad, sisal, because of the wick shape, yeah. And this is a special form of barite you find sometimes. It's barite, it's also including some plumbum, some lead, and then you get this milky white colors, you see. This one I found a few weeks ago, and it's not from the last collection trip. And this is a very special one Franz found a few years ago. This is 2nd generation of barite, and the pure barite crystals has gone away and come back and crystallize in this, in this feather form. It has been determinate. I have never seen this, and I hope to find one myself one day. I love this stuff. This is one I found in 2019. It was the first rock I hit on the Clara, and I found a beautiful barrite crystal, but with a red-brown coloration. So it makes a good photo object. Brochantite. I must say you don't find it a lot, but it is there. This is one of big brochantite crystal from France. Then we got Ettringite. is always a discussion because it's something that grows in interaction with the concrete walls in the mine. And sometimes they break them down and they get some more mineral stuff out there. And then you can find also Hexagonite on the dump. Here you got one. Very nice crystals. The crystal shape is hexagonal, but it's too small to see. Langite, one of the most wanted minerals from the Clara. It's not easy, but figures again. We found this piece, I believe, 2 years ago. It's deep in the Vuk, but I tried to photograph the Langite crystals here. And okay, Chloride crystals all around it. Porcelainite, it's always a discussion because Langite, Porcelainite and Wolfite are, of course, chemical identical minerals. But we always say when it has this shape, like a spear or like, then it must be Porcelainite. Here we have one. This is a very beautiful one. This one I discovered also 3 years ago on that very small little dump. This is a Fluoride crystal, and on it is a very special Porcelainite. Lenarite. It's one of the crystals I love, but you don't find it a lot of times. But it has this bright, very bright blue color, very, very intense color. And this one I love. It's a very small mineral. It's a field of view of 1 millimeter in there. But you see, it's a very, very nice shape. Scheelite you find more Lassius. This is not a problem. Everyone who collects can find it. It's a difficult mineral to photograph because it has a low contrast. But this one. And sometimes they are more reddish, like this one. Stalzite, you see, this is all lead wolfram minerals. This is one of the best I did find. Most of the time you find a lot of mimetisite crystals around it. And this one Frans found 2 years ago. It's a complete stalzite crystals. This is a Latin-like crystal. So I call it a goldfish talking to a white scrimp. I love this wonderful mineral. Once in a month we meet on our Gear Society with our Micromount club. We are with 12, 13 people. And also a lot of Clara we are doing there. And Henk is the chairman of our society. I'm the secretary. And we have a lot of discussion, and that makes it all very interesting. Then we got a nice stuff. It's called arsenocrandallite. This has been checked by Röntgen analyze. It's a very rare find. I never found it myself. And this is arsenocrandallite, typical locality. This piece is found by Eric, I believe, 2 years ago. We find it a lot more the last 2 years. So everyone who go to collect can find it. And this is one piece I had from Jan to photograph it. It's rare to see this form. This is also a type of locality, Barrio Chloride. And you find a lot of stuff, all kind of colors. Then we got the Burdantite Secondite series. We always put them together because it's not possible on the eye determination to exactly say what is what. This is a very old find piece I found, I think, 20 years ago. And this is Scoridite. This is a piece from 2 years ago, found by Frans. It's secondite, and it gives up a nice crystal with a dark top on it. And you see it. You can see very good here. And here it is also, it is a very special form. This is has to be researched, and it is also Secondite, Budentite. Chenevixite, we only find it in adult green color, but Felix Record did find this crystal a few years ago. This is, I think I've seen a Pyrite, and it's covered up completely with, yeah, Coprite with Chenevixite, copper, iron, arsenate. Very nice crystals. Covalent, you find a lot there. This is like you normally find Covalent crystals. And when you're a little bit lucky, you can see on top those flat edges in here, like here, and form some wheels. Duftite is has been found a lot of the last half year. I don't know why. Sometimes it's there. This is normally spoken the color you most find. And these had some dark mixture on it, but it gives beautiful crystals. This is an old I found, I think, 20 years ago. There's an old one here. But this is a special form. It's researched by a friend of us, Jan Galena. He's a real Clara specialist. I had never seen this form. I first thought it was Olivenite, but it seems to be Duftite too. Erythrite is what we all like to see. It's a very rare stuff. You find it more in the Black Forest, special in a place 25 kilometers from the Clara. It's called Wiedeken. You need cobalt, of course, but Felix, of course, did find a nice piece. You see the pink colorization here. And this is Sulphur Pyrite, and this is Lavender, we think this. There you see the details, very nice color. Also here. Carbonite is a mineral we all love, and a few months ago there were some friends who found nice pieces, like Hank did find very beautiful carbonite. This is the dream stuff. I didn't find this one myself, but someday it will come. This one find from 2 years ago. This is one from Felix, of course, from who else? And here you see the little Secondite crystals. That's typical. Always you find it in association with Secondite, Budentite, and then yeah, this is one of the top finds Felix did of carbonite. Now we all have to see it. And there you find some Secondite, Budentite. Glass, for years it was very rare, and the last 2-3 years it's coming on a lot again. Beautiful mineral. Here you see, like most time we find these type of minerals. This is a very heavy stuff. It's a real block of completely covered up with a beautiful mineral. So it's a dark color. This is one in my collection, but I didn't find it myself, but I get it from friends. It's also a very beautiful, very thick crystal. And there you see the blue-green shining through. And this is a beautiful one. It's just a lollipop standing here. And you can see the green-blue coloration of it. But this is only a field of view of 1 millimeter. And also here you see chrysocolla on the other side. And here you got a nice, very nice group of class crystals. Conical side, it's already there. The last 2-3 years we see it sometimes coming up in very nice crystal forms, very brilliant, very clear and brilliant green. also on a bed of chrysocolla. Lavender, I love it. It's not easy to find. This one is from, I believe, 2 or 3 years ago. Hank showed me a piece of Chloride, but it was completely broken. And he said, do you want to have it? I say, okay, let's see. But when I was at home, I thought, well, I will give it a hit with a hammer. And it broke open, and I filled up with this beautiful vug filled with the most beautiful lavender crystals I've ever found. Thank you, Hank. And this one I found a few weeks ago I believe it was in November, but it was in an old box from 20 years ago. I had still in the garage. I had to clean up with all old material from the Clara. Oh, it was nice. Mimetite, pyramorphite, it's the same old story. It's difficult to say on the eye determination which is which. So most of the time we call this one group. Here you see the form you normally find in the Clara. This is a very nice find of France from, I think, from a year ago. This is an oldie I have in my collection. It's thinking on the famous stuff we found in the Cobalent fields. I don't know how do they do Sulphide? Huh? Campylite. That's what I was thinking of. Campylite. Yes. This is the, yeah, you find it this form, very beautiful. Mixite, I only found it once, this mineral. Olivenite, I do collect a lot of them. A few years ago I had over 200, so I give away 150, I believe. I try to collect all different forms. I have 20 shapes of it. There are more. And I think now I have over 120 again, because they are so beautiful. This one I found also in September last year. Yeah, this is the typical shape of olivenite you find there. This one I take in high key photography, so it's a very thick crystal, so you can see the light coming from behind. But you find also this kind of olivenite, and people always ask me, how can you see that this is not malachite? No, they are right. If you are not sure, you take a needle and you throw that in some ammonia. And when you see a blue shining around it, then you know it's an olivenite. Sorry, the other mineral I mean is agadite. Agadite doesn't do it. This is also, yeah, you have so many different forms and shapes. This is one that shows very nice the crystal form. This one I found also a few months ago, but there's still discussion of this is olivenite or not. We will see. And this, of course, is one I found a few months ago too. And here you see the typical for Clara olivenite. Most of the time you see this striation in the CX, and here you see the extra growing from a secondary grow like here. It is also a very nice find. This I did find in September last year, and everyone told me that this is Covalent, but I am not sure. It's such a strange. Maybe Felix said maybe it's Gilmerite, but we cannot be sure. I think I have to offer one for the scientific research. I must know. Pinoweed, we didn't find it the last 10, 15 years a lot. In the last 2-3 years, it's coming again. You see the Barrite crystals. This one I found 2 years ago. I love it. Nice blue green color. Scoridite you find, yeah, you find a lot of it in the Clara. Not always, but this find from Freeride from 3 years ago, and I was there. And this Scoridite, like we all know it has different kind of coloration. I have them from light yellow to reddish to this is the color you find the most. This one find from France from 2 years ago, and this is also Hexagonal. This is Agadite. This is my favorite find from always at one from 3 years ago. This one from France, another color of course. And this one I found this summer in the old box of Clara when I was talking about. There was still one rock, a small rock, and I thought, well, I'll throw it away. And then my inner voice said, oh, give it a hit. And I put it in my rubber machine and I broke it open. And then I saw this one. This is my favorite Scoridite of all times. I love it, I love it, I love it. Granulite is found a lot last year. I'm not a very fan of it, but yeah. This is more the massive form you see of it. And you'll find it also in these yeah, shiny, glazy spheres. This is a very rare find. For a few years it was almost not known in the Clara mine. And Felix was one of the first guy who found it, I believe 2 or 3 years ago. 2 years ago, a friend of mine found this one. This is very small. You must realize it's 0.5 millimeters, so you can see how small it is. But it's always in companion with Covalent malachite. So this is the find Felix did. It's not the most beautiful mineral in the world, I think, but it's a very special and very rare, and that's what I like. Here is one too. This is a Gaudite. I found it last year, but this is one from Jan Langendoen. He let examine a bit on the university, but I believe with Röntgen or something like that. And you find it sometimes. The last year you find it more. I even have 1 or 2 pieces found of it. It has a very light blue correlation. This is a pyromorphite. The French told me that this is really pyromorphite and no mimetizite. No, I believe him. Rock de Fan, we all know it from the Eifel region, but it always, you can also find it in the Clara. And this is found of a friend of mine. And this is very special. This is found from 2 or 3 years ago. You see it here in very massive spheres. This is all, and here you see like you normally find it. And this is Tobinite. This is of course uranium phosphate. You don't find it a lot, but you can find it. I did too. I found this in July this year, also on the diagonal too. And when I was at home and was breaking that big rock, I found this one. And this is the best found I did last year. This is clear Tobinite, and I hope it stays like this and it's not going on to meta Tobinite. Almost there. For Doc and all photographers, this is my installation here. I make my photos. Chrysocolla, these are the silicates. Most people don't look at it, but I think it's an important mineral. See here quartz crystals covered up with chrysocolla, and there you find again a very, very beautiful olivenite crystal. And here we have a wall of chrysocolla spheres. This is agadite, and this is conical. And this is chrysocolla too, but this is also a perimorphose. I think it must have been, maybe it must have been olivenite or something like that. Muscovite, nobody looks at muscovite. It's too too ordinary maybe, but I love it. And here you see hematite crystals, and here's a group of muscovite. This is muscovite too. I found it a few last year. And this is Uran-Fan. There are more types of uranium minerals, but we only find this one. Then you need also the distinct part. So, this is organic minerals, but I didn't find them yet. I'm also a sand collector, so you see why I like this hobby too. And this is the end. This is my friend Frans, and this is our Belgian friend Clara. And they are also very good collectors of minerals. I hope to see you one day on the Clara mine. Everybody can go there. If you are 90 years, you can still go to the Clara and you can still collect and have a nice holiday in the beautiful Schwarzwald. Thank you. Now I have to close it. Stop share. Yes. Okay.
Well done, Jacques.
Thank you.
Very good.
In a good hour, yes.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
excellent.
Wonderful, wonderful.
You did very well. Do we have any questions?
Just it's works of, these aren't just minerals, they're works of art. Yeah, it's lovely photography and minerals I don't see. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's the. I'm a photographer, and Henk too, and Steve, of course. There are a few people in here that make very beautiful photos, and then you can show them to the world. The most people I speak to, they don't really know what the mineral is. If you show them big quartz, okay, but not when they see the beauty of the micro minerals.
Yeah.
And that's what we can do, and that's why Facebook is such a nice medium to show your findings and share them with other people. But you make good photos, Sheila. I love them.
No, I don't. I was too busy looking after my groups to take the photographs.
Okay.
So I look at the minerals. I love them. Yeah.
Maybe next year we come and visit you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too busy. I have to look after people like Belson and that needed much looking after.
What do you mean?
Yeah. And poor old Stolworthy and Richard Bell. Oh, yeah. Hello, Colleen.
Hi, darling.
Yeah. I'm a facilitator. Well, I was.
What?
A facilitator.
Can you
No,
get a
please.
cream for that?
I facilitated you all.
Can
I
you get a
don't
cream
understand.
for that?
Don't understand that at all.
No.
And they used to moan about my driving, but we won't go into that.
No, we didn't.
All right, you were. They were unconscious.
But a lot of people of you visit Clara mine. I know Martin did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Richard. And Richard.
Steve do?
Yeah, we've all been there
Yeah.
several
Yeah,
times.
I have actually visited a few old mining sites in the Black Forest, but I never got as far as Clara, unfortunately.
Oh. It's easy to go, and then you get hooked on it. It's always a nice pleasure to be there, to meet all the old friends from France and Belgium and German. And after a few years, you know everybody. And we eat together in groups. We have a lot of talks. We have a lot of fun. Even if there are days that you find not so very interesting minerals, there are salts, but we have a good day. And yeah, it's one big family, I think. And we are, of course, we are lucky. We only have to drive 500 kilometers to be there. And when I see the presentation of Doc, and it's very difficult to go to Washington or something and hiding up a little deep in the mountains and hope you have a permit to find and collect something. It's very hard work. Clara is not. You can go there and find.
Well,
but
hopefully we'll be there either this year or definitely next year anyway.
Next year, Rupert, if you want to come.
And we still have to go to Covalent this year.
We have a
fancy
week
few
there.
days, Rupert?
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've got a full-time job, so that doesn't tend to work.
All right, you
Well, you
arrange
take
it.
holiday. You take
Give you plenty
holiday.
of notice.
I'll have to start working on my wife now.
You just leave her behind for a week.
Take her with you.
Simple.
As long as I can blame you.
Oh,
Yeah, you
yeah.
can blame me. Yeah, blame me.
Okay. Now, I hope I like the presentation. It's been a little bit-
Very good, very good, very enjoyable.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Very good, Jacques.
Thanks, Jacques. Very good.
Yeah, thank you. Enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Gorgeous.
Thank
Okay,
you.
right.
All right. Thank you.
I've got to go. I've got to go, folks. Take care.
Yeah. See you
Okay.
later.
Stay safe.
I
Yeah,
promise you
brilliant.
some Clara material.
Bye-bye.
Gian Andrea, you get some Clara material from me. I promise you. Yeah. But you have to
Who?
send me your address.
Yeah, boss, you. Okay.
I will send you a packet with Clara minerals. You know?
Yeah, I
Okay?
remember.
Okay.
You're kind, very kind. Thank you very much.
It's my best.
That's great. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for participating. It's been a really good session again. And Hank, we'll look forward to you doing such a good job as well in 2 weeks' time. No pressure.
I'll try to do my best. Yeah, sure. Okay.
I think he's up to it.
Yeah.
I think so.
Dueling photography.
I have to do a lot of work still, so I hope it's coming up. Okay.
Excellent. All right.
All right.
Until
I'll
next
see you
time.
next week. Okay.
Thanks, that was
2 weeks,
great.
yes.
Thanks,
Okay,
Jacques.
bye-bye.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, bye, everybody.
Bye,
Happy
everyone.
New Year.
Bye.